Welcome back, AACPS staff and students. Here we are working in WeVideo Classroom, and in this video we're going to see some of the additional options that you have here in the assignment editing window where you are creating a project. We're going to begin in the lower left-hand corner here, where you see each of the tracks that we've been building our project in. If you hover over one of them, what you'll see is a little pencil icon up here, and this will allow you to rename the track. So as you're building your project, if you're confused about what's going into video track number 1 versus 2, what's in text track number 1 versus 2, renaming them can help you keep that straight. So for example, I might choose to make text track number 1 say this is going to be my title text, and then I can have additional tracks with different types of text in them. So you simply select on the current title and you can type in something else. In addition to the pencil, we'll also find 3 dots here that tell you these are track actions. And when you select on that, you have options to move a track up or down in the order that it appears here in the project window. We can change the audio or opacity, which was an option that we saw up here on our editing toolbar. Those are completely the same options. It's just a question of whether or not you're in the track actions or you're using the option here on the editor's toolbar. We can change the height of the track if we're finding it difficult to see things. Making it a little bit larger might make it easier to see everything that's in your track. You have the ability to rename, which we just saw with the pencil a moment ago, and then we can even delete a track entirely if we're not going to use that space as a part of our project. Now let's turn our attention all the way over to the right-hand side. You'll see handles here to zoom out and in on your project. Right now, my project is taking up very little room over here on the left-hand side. But if I start to zoom in on this by dragging that over to the right, you'll see that those tracks are growing in length. And they're not actually getting any longer. My project is no longer than it was a moment ago. What I'm getting is the ability to edit in fractions of a second, tenths of a second, hundredths of a second. That is really important if you're trying to cut a track, whether it's video or audio, in a very precise place. The more you zoom in on it, the more precise you can get on putting that playhead in exactly the position that you want it to be in before you utilize that split tool that we learned about from the toolbar. Now let's turn our attention to the upper left-hand corner of our screen here. In between the WeVideo icon and the title of our assignment, Introduce Yourself, we have what we call a hamburger menu. 3 tiny little horizontal lines give us all kinds of options for working on our project here. The first option at the top is Save. Now everything that I'm doing in WeVideo should save automatically, and you'll notice I do have a message here that says all changes are saved. But if I'm concerned, I don't want to exit, I'm afraid I might lose something, I can come here and I can prompt WeVideo to save my project so that I know for certain that if I exit out of this right now, I'm not going to lose anything that I've created. The next option we have is a version history. This will remind me of all of the steps that I have taken in building this project. So if I've done some things today that I'm not happy with and I want to go back to a previous version, I can go into my version history to restore another version of my project. That is particularly useful when you're working on a team project and you have multiple people editing. My next option is theme. I can choose between light and dark. A dark theme is going to change the background behind my video editor into this deep gray, whereas the light theme had the background as white. Next option we have here in the menu is Preferences. That allows clips to snap into the best place. So for example, if I'm trying to put many video clips next to each other, they will snap directly into the best position to bump them up against each other in building. And you'll notice that that is on. If you want the ability to control precisely where you put things and not have it snap, you would simply come here and turn that off. We have a help menu in case you're having trouble with WeVideo Classroom. You can use WeVideo's resources to help you. And then finally, we have an edit in full screen, which is just going to remove some of those extra toolbars that I don't need when I'm working in WeVideo Classroom and dedicate more of my workspace to my project here. Then I can exit out of full screen as well. Now let's move over to the upper right-hand side across the top as well. I have this small icon here that sort of looks like a piece of paper on a clipboard. This allows me to see all of the specifics of the assignment. I can be reminded not only of the assignment title, but I can read all of the directions that my teacher included in what I'm supposed to complete as a part of this project. So I can see here my teacher wanted me to create a 60-second video to introduce myself, and then some tips were to use my webcam and add music to show my personality. So you can be reminded of all of the specific instructions by clicking on assignment there. Next, we have another option to access WeVideo's help resources. You can share some feedback with WeVideo if you have ideas for how they can improve this platform. And then if I'm done working in the project and I'm not ready to turn it in yet, I can click on Close to be taken back to my WeVideo dashboard. Or if I am finished with the project, I have the button here to click to turn it in to my teacher. Once I select Turn In, I will be prompted to confirm that yes, I am ready to turn this into my teacher. I select on Turn In, and then I get these lovely stars that pop up letting me know that my project has now been turned in. And then instead of it appearing under my to-do out here on my classroom dashboard where I see my other assignments, that one is now under Turned In. I can select on it and I can view my video project, but I don't have the ability to edit it anymore. It is now in the hands of my teacher, who would have to give it back to me with or without feedback in order for me to be able to edit it again. So that was a quick look at all of the different options that you have around the screen for utilizing additional tools in WeVideo Classroom.